Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Gemini, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Gemini, I hope you're doing well. These readings are all about chapters closing and new chapters beginning. So I'm using two brand new decks today. The Rose Oracle deck for the overall energy, and for the tarot reading, the Tarot Landscapes, which is just such a beautiful deck. I'm really growing to love it. So Gemini, I'm going to get the overall reading. The cards have been thoroughly pre-shuffled. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Wow. The card says the reunion, soul recognition, collaboration, partnership, and friendship. I hate to say it, but like right off the bat, I'm thinking of, you know, the band Queen. I'm thinking of the Queen cover for, what song was it? Maybe it was an album, or it's an individual song like Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm not sure. But we can see here two faces coming together. But, you know, this could be like your Akashic Council, your spirit guides, your ancestors. The reunion. Pretty intense, Gemini. It's kind of impossible not to say that somebody from your past is coming back into your life, or you into theirs. I don't feel as though it is like a spiritual, I feel as though, like I don't feel as though it's like between you and your higher self, for example. I feel like this specifically refers to a person in the 3D. We shall see. It's beautiful, whatever it is. It's like coming back to someone, but seeing them, really seeing them for the first time as a soul. Like really understanding what that means. Really recognizing the heart space, the soul space within that person that you might not have been able to recognize before. So 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifier, past, present, future, and advice from Spirit. Okay. 3 more. Okay, so Spirit asked me to look at the bottom of the deck. 5 of Cups in reverse. This is the 5 of Cups in the upright. Actually, I don't think I've pulled this card for anybody. 5 of Cups, let's look at it. There's a little mouse, like a field mouse, in the left-hand corner. And kind of a fountain and some weeping willow type trees. There's the little mouse there in the water fountain. Kind of spilling over, right? It's almost as if it's broken. 5 of Cups energy. Fives are always necessary, but just me personally, as a human, 5s frustrate me, and so unfortunately when I see 5s, as the interpreter, Spirit already knows this, right? So There could have been some prior frustration with you in this Five of Cups energy, which is, in the past, there was an inability to get over something. There was an inability to see the bright side, to see the glass half full, to recognize the abundance, to recognize the blessings. You did get this card in reverse at the bottom of the deck, though, which kind of tells me that you're lifting yourself out of that energy. You're coming out of that energy with the Hanged Man underneath that in reverse. Hanged Man energy, major arcana, talking about having to... These actually are two cards back to back, which talk about a change of perspective and needing a change of perspective. So the fact that these cards are in reverse for you suggests to me that you have. That there's been some spiritual growth, that there's been some emotional introspection, not just cerebral. So that's good. Introspection is always good. Obsessing about that is not so great, but I don't feel like you're obsessing. I think you're just looking at something with a renewed set of eyes and a new outlook. Now that I realize that you have 3 5s in your reading, that's too many 5s for me. 5, 5, 5. That's too many 5s, but they seem productive, right? Because in the tarot, the 5s are all about transition, in the space of in between, in the space of learning. By the time we get to the 6, that's when the good, that's when the positive good stuff happens. You got victory, you've got understanding, you've got, really beautiful energies. But the 5s are very fraught. You got the Hermit card in the past energy in reverse, and the 5 of Swords in reverse. Here the cards are in the upright. So let's start with the Hermit card. The Hermit card is Major Arcana number 11. It's Taurus energy. And it talks about somebody who has gone through their dark night of the soul. You got this card in reverse, though. So it's as if you're coming, it's like the idea that somebody goes to the mountaintop in their heart and isolates themselves away. And in that kind of cave of understanding, faces their own shadow, faces their trauma, faces their wounding, faces all of the obstacles and things that have held them back, and recognizes their part. This is something I like to say a lot, just to friends and everything, to myself as well. In every situation, to truly be self-aware, you have to ask yourself, what was my part? What part did I play in that scenario? Maybe you played no part in a scenario, and that may have been the problem, right? Sometimes being a passive bystander, that's the problem. Sometimes being a know-it-all, and even if you were right, just having to one-up everybody, you're the problem, right? So I'm not saying you're the problem, Gemini. I'm just saying that you're starting to ask yourself those questions. You're starting to ask yourself, what was my part? What is my responsibility? How can I make myself a better person with this understanding of the Hermit? You got the card in reverse in the past energy. So it kind of tells me that you learned some lessons and now you're descending the mountain in order to, it's like, share your findings with the world. Share this new enlightened version of you, and raising your own vibration, raising the vibration of people around you. The 5 of Swords can be fraught only within the mind space. So this is a game of one-upsmanship. That's the expression, one-upsmanship. We're always having to have the last word, be the authority, be the know-it-all, right? And just win at all costs. That's what this card represents. But you got it in reverse. So it's almost as if like I have the wisdom now to understand that, number one, some battles don't need to be fought. Some battles it's not worth the paper it's printed on. I just heard that. Spirit just gave that to me. It's not worth the paper it's printed on. Some battles are not worth fighting. They're a waste of your breath. They're a waste of your energy and time and attention. You can still know you're right, Gemini, because now they're showing me the King of Swords, which I always attribute to Gemini. King of Swords in the tarot. You don't have it here yet, but the King of Swords is the authority. So I see that in my mind. I see the King of Swords and I see you. It's not that you're not right and that you aren't an authority, but at the same time, your ego is very regulated and you don't need to prove it to anybody. You're just like, okay, you can live in your own little world over there. I know what the truth is, but I don't need to convince you. I just need to know where I stand and how I'm going to deal with the world. Not always easy, especially when we're face to face with somebody who is screaming, being really obnoxious, belligerent. Could be a stranger, could be a family member. I'm going to ask for a clarifier for this past energy for Gemini. Thank you, Spirit. Two of Swords. Yeah, Two of Swords can talk about stagnancy, trying to understand the next move, our strategy, and how we're going to make decisions and come up with a plan. But that back and forth could have a person just standing still, because I could go this way, I could go that way, I could go this way, I could go that way, and then you just end up standing still because you confuse yourself, right? So it's clarifying your past energy where I always like to refer to Gemini as the this and that are true sign, because you are the sign that is comfortable with duality. So for you, you can see both sides of the story. This and that are true. But sometimes that works against you, especially if it causes you to stand still. And sometimes if this and that are true thinking roots in fear, then you can justify anything, right? Like, if we don't want to do something, we can come up with every excuse in the book as to why we're not going to do it. With anything in life, you can rationalize it. And Geminis are the kings of that. You can rationalize something if you have to. You have the intelligence to look at something from a multitude of sides. At the same time, sometimes it can work against you. And this card is clarifying your past energy, because I think you figured it out. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. It's clarifying to me that during your hermit mode, your deep introspection, your spiritual introspection, or however you want to identify this period of your life in the past, you looked at that aspect in a way where you are your own worst enemy. So in the present energy, you have the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is the present energy. This is a peregrine falcon. If you know anything about these types of falcons, they are absolutely kind of, I want to say, almost ruthless hunters. They dive bomb towards their prey, and with the sheer speed at which they collide with something, they just knock that thing right out. Right the F out. Where that prey has no chance. Has no chance. I've seen videos of peregrine falcons going after eagles. Like, they are not afraid. They are not afraid. Knight of Swords talks about somebody rushing in with some kind of juicy truth that they want to express to you, but it's in reverse. Now, this could be somebody else, or this could be you. I kind of feel like it's you. I kind of feel like it's you. I see a specific scenario in my mind where here you are kind of having gone through this space of real reflection, real deep introspection, coming back into like society and wanting to share what you've learned, to experience life with a renewed sense of self, but then being shy about it, not feeling as confident, not feeling as though you will be accepted or your message will be accepted, something like this. There's hesitancy. And it's the opposite of the dive bombing. It's the like, I'm just gonna sit on this ledge for just a second. Because it's clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. You can see here, this card came out for Libra. And I saw this bear as like mama bear energy. Queen of Pentacles is very Mother Earth, Mother Gaia energy. But it's in autumn season, so this winding down, this hibernation, like we're not at hibernation yet, but we're about to be. That's what I feel when I see this card, but you got it in reverse. So you're not trying to go back into hermit energy. You're not trying to go back into any kind of hibernation space, not in any way. However, I don't think you found your footing yet. I don't feel like you found your confidence. It's like this. When I think about when I came out of, I mean, there are many dark nights of the soul you can go through in your lifetime, right? I should hope that we're always evolving, constantly learning, constantly growing. But when I came out of, I guess, my most recent, really intense dark night of the soul, it was almost like sometimes I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And then I found my path to tarot and found my path to spirit and my spirit guides, and like uncovered this realization that I actually had clair gifts. Like, so, but it was like, okay, I have gifts, so what do I do with it? And how is it going to help people? It's weird. I just went through all of these phases of, are people are going to think I'm weird? Are people, you know, because I'm a pretty grounded person at the same time. I'm very emotional because I'm a water sign, but at the same time, I'm a realist when it comes to a lot of things. So to try and be a realist in the space of faith, it's a balance. And so I feel as though you're going through this questioning. Okay, you recognize that you have gifts, that you are special, that you want to express that you want to attract like-mindedness, you want epiphanies, you want people to continue to teach you, continue to give information that will help you. But at this point, you're still kind of finding your sea legs, what they just said. Spirit just said sea legs. Can I have a clarifier, please? So you got, like, it's unbelievable. You got another 5, right? There's no coincidences. So, like, the fact, oh, you didn't get another 5. It's the same 5 from before, from the bottom of the deck, but now it came out in your reading. So it came, the bottom of the deck, when I read the bottom of the deck, it's like what's going on in the subconscious energies, but now it's in your main spread. So it's significant. It's like really coming to the surface, which is good. We want to reconcile the 5s so we can move on to the victories. Five of Cups, I already talked about it, right? It's the change of perspective, looking at something glass half empty, glass half full. It's understanding that now you can, I really truly believe that you see the world differently due to something that's happened in your recent past that could have to do with the loss of some kind. I went through my spiritual awakening during the pandemic. There was so much loss. There was a loss of life. There was a loss of dignity for a lot of people. There was a lot of violence, especially in the country that I'm from. I'm from the United States. There's so much. There's just so much happening, and it was traumatic. It was traumatic for everyone. So, but there could have been another kind of loss for you, and if there was that loss, I'm very sorry, you know, that you had to go through it. But you're going through it. You're coming out of it. And I feel as though you're really finding out what you're made of. What you're made of. Spirit is showing me this in the future potential for you. Another 5. The Hierophant card in the Major Arcana. Taurus energy. Represented here by the great wisdom of the trees. I love the trees. Please go hug a tree, sit against a tree, touch a tree, be friends with, just pick a tree in your neighborhood and say, you're my new friend. Connect with trees. It's so important. It's so grounding and so beautiful. They're so wise. The Hierophant is a spiritual leader. The connection between earthbound humans and the divine. So that could be a spiritual teacher, coach, some kind of shaman or guru, somebody that you respect. And the Justice card, Libra energy, number 11. Justice talks about karmic balance, balance in general. These two cards kind of express to me that this awareness on your part, actually. This awareness on your part of the part that you played. I feel a great sense of responsibility that you are really taking responsibility for your actions at this time, which is one of the most enlightened things to do, and it's something that I greatly respect. People who take responsibility for their actions, admit their shortcomings, ask for help, all of these good things. All these good things. It's really beautiful, really powerful too. These are not ooey gooey Major Arcana cards. Like, I don't know, what's an ooey gooey Major Arcana card? Like the Fool. Like, just like, oh, this is so awesome, and you know, how wonderful. This is like, oh, we're doing really hard spiritual work. Spirit is calling us to task, because look at the salmon like swimming upstream in like a frozen river. Can you think of anything more difficult? I mean, and yet it perseveres. In the outcome, excuse me, in the advice from Spirit, really beautiful. Remember, the card is reunion, coming into connection with somebody from our past or our past lives. You got the 10 of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, both in the upright. I mean, this is Spirit's advice. It's almost like here you are reunited with your friend, whoever this spiritual friend is, spirit friend, soul friend. And there's going to be a gorgeous offer of opportunity, of love, of abundance. They're so magical. It's so peaceful when I look at these two images, and they're different, right? This is like dawn and this is dusk. It's quite beautiful. Can I have one last card, please, Spirit? The Tower in reverse. Major Arcana. Number 16. I always forget. The Tower is Scorpio Aries energy. And it can sometimes talk about a kind of implosion. Something kind of collapsing in on itself because it was not steady, it was not stable. Tower often represents shock, awe, and surprise. But I see this card came out in the reverse for you, so it's almost like averting some kind of disaster or right in the nick of time. It's more like that. I feel as though your reunion right in the nick of time. Maybe in this point of your life where you're just questioning your place in the world. Why am I here, right? The biggest question we could ever ask, besides what happens after we die. Why am I here? And maybe this divine counterpart can help you to discover the answers to that question. That's your reading, Gemini. It's really beautiful. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Gemini.